Good morning, students. How are you all? So, our next chapter will be chapter 15, Jack Plays a Joke. It's on page number 103 of your literature book. The chapter name is Jack Plays a Joke. Students, this story is about two brothers, Chuck and Jack. Chuck and Jack. Chuck and Jack live with their mother in Moscow in Russia, and now they are traveling to Siberia, which is also a region in Russia, to meet their father and to spend New Year's with him. But when they go to Siberia, when they reach Siberia, they found out that their father has gone away for 10 days, and now they have to live in an unknown place, a very cold place, okay, with limited food. Fine. So if you were in this situation, would you have been excited or scared? So let us read the story. Come to the first paragraph. On the morning of the fourth day, mother had to chop firewood herself. So they had come to Siberia for 10 days. So on the fourth day, okay, the mother was cutting. Chop means cut into pieces. Firewood means wood used in fire. So the mother had to cut the wood in order to cook food herself. They had eaten the hare long ago, and the magpies had picked the bones clean. What do you mean? The only food they had eaten was rabbit, and the magpie. Magpie is a white and black bird. Okay? All they had, and the only thing which was left for dinner was porridge and onions. Porridge in Hindi you call it as dalia. Okay? The bread was almost finished, but mother found some flour and baked a few biscuits for them. Okay, flour is the wheat, the white powder which you use for making your bread, your biscuits, your chapatis. Okay, so the only thing which was left for dinner was porridge and onions, and mother arranged some flour and baked a few biscuits for Chuck and Jack. Next paragraph. After that dinner, Jack felt very low, and mother wondered if he had temperature. She ordered him to stay inside. Okay, so after having porridge and some onions, Jack was not feeling well. So mother thought that he had temperature. Temperature means fever. So she ordered Jack to stay inside the house. Then she dressed Chuck, took pails and a little sleigh, and the two went out for water and to gather twigs to start the stove in the morning. Jack was left alone. He waited and waited, then he grew restless. So Chuck and mother had to go out. Okay, they took the pails. Pails means bucket. They took the buckets and they kept on the little sleigh. You all have seen the Santa sleigh. It's a vehicle. You all can see in the picture also. It's a vehicle which is used to slide over the snow. Okay, it is a vehicle that can slide over the snow, move over the snow. So they went out, Chuck and mother, to get water and to get some branches, to get some twigs, to get some small branches in order to make fire and to cook food in the next morning. And Jack was left all alone in the house. Chuck and mother were gone for some time. On their way back, the little sleigh with the pails of water overturned, and they had to go back to the spring. Then halfway home, they discovered that Chuck had left one of his mittens in the forest. Again, they turned back. In the meantime, dusk fell. So it had been a long time. They had not returned. Okay, why they have not returned? Because when they were returning home, the sleigh on which they have kept the bucket of water, it overturned, and there was no water left for them, and they had to go back again to the starting point. Spring means starting point. Okay, then halfway home, then again when they were returning home, they discovered that Chuck had left one of his gloves, one of his mittens in the forest. So again they moved back to get that glove. In the meantime, dusk fell. What do you mean by dusk? the evening time, when the light has almost gone but it is not yet dark. And the opposite of dusk is dawn. Okay? Next paragraph. When they got home at last, after so many problems, when they came back home, Jack was missing. Okay? Jack was nowhere to be found. First, they thought he was hiding under a pile of sheepskin, but he was not there. So first they thought that he is hiding somewhere. He is hiding under a pile, heap of skin of the sheep. But he was not there. Chuck smiled slyly and whispered into mother's ear that Jack was of course under the stove. Okay, so Chuck smiled slyly. Slyly means cunningly. Fine, chalaki say. Fine. So he smiled slyly, he smiled very cunningly as if he knew the secret place, and he told his mother that Jack can be under the stove. Mother grew very angry at that and he ordered Jack to come out. But Jack was silent. Then Chuck took the long fork and he put it under the stove to find Jack. But he was not there. Mother became really worried. She glanced at the nail near the door. Glance means to took a quick look. Okay, take a quick look means to look quickly. So she quickly looked at the nail. Nail means the hook. Fine, on the door, and she found out that Jack's coat and hat was missing. So she became really worried because it was an unknown place for them. Next paragraph. She went out and looked around the house. Then she came back and lit the lantern. She peered into the dark storage room and into the woodshed. Meanwhile, it was quickly becoming dark. Okay, so she was finding Jack everywhere in the house. She came back in the house and she lit the lantern. Lantern means the lamp. Okay, so she lit the lamp and she peered. Peered means to look with difficulty. All the meanings are given in the PDF. You can read it. Peered means to look with difficulty. So she looked into the storeroom. She looked in the woodshed. But Jack was not there. Mother darted into the house again, tore the gun off its nail, took the bullets and lantern and ran outside. She decided to go out to the road since she did not think Jack would dare to go into the forest alone. So, mother darted means ran suddenly into the house again, took the gun, took the bullets, took the lamp, and she decided to she started running towards the road because she thought that Jack did not have the courage to go in the forest alone. So might be he can go towards the road. There was not a soul on the road. Soul means person. It was all empty. It was all vacant. She loaded the gun and fired it. She fired a second time and then a third. Suddenly from somewhere near came an answering shot. Somebody was hurrying to the rescue. She wanted to rush forward, but her felt boots sank in the snow. The lantern fell out of her hand, its glass broke, and the light went out. So there was no one on the road, so she started firing, and she fired 3 times from her gun. Okay, and when she was firing to the third shot, someone else also started firing. Okay, so she wanted to run, but the boots she was wearing, it's known as felt boots. Okay, felt boots are made up of wool which you use in heavy snow to move in the snow. It sank in the snow, so she was not able to move. Okay, and when the boot sank in the snow, the lamp fell out of her hand. It slipped from her hand and its glass broke and the light went out. So it was completely dark. Okay, students, read the first half of the chapter till here. Please understand the words I've given each and every meaning in the PDF. Read it 2-3 times, and if you have any doubt, you can contact me. Thank you.